Hello, adventurers! My name is Chance, and welcome to my campaign. This will be the third session of the Welcome to the Guild series, labeled First Steps. The level requirement is between a 1 to 3. Party size is not really applicable. The prerequisite, character sheet, dice, and you need to have completed the previous session, or this really won't make any sense. With that out of the way, let's get started and dive right on in. You awake to the sound of chirping birds. Opening your eyes, you see the warm glow of sunrise. You really are back. Something about the air, something about the way the grass seems to grow. This is your world, although something is different. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're what's different. Maybe it's something else. Sitting up, you see Pookie facing into the sunrise. He turns around to see you awake.
Hello, weakling. I trust you slept well.
He stares back towards the sun.
You know, I used to hate this world long ago. Like, really hate it. But thanks to Master, I understand it. The beauty of this world.
He bows towards the sun, doing his best to keep his balance with his stubby little legs and his heavy midsection.
Sadly, I need to take you to my master's friend. I hate that man. With luck, we will make it to him before nightfall. I suggest you conserve your strength for the encounter.
Pookie waves his hand over the ashes of the bonfire, causing it to reignite. Waving his other hand, a pan appears, overflowing with bacon and eggs. The salty scent wafts over you, Pookie calmly watching over the food.
Weakling, Pookie's been thinking. Master tasked Pookie with guiding you. I think he meant more than taking you from one place to another. Sadly, the restrictions in my mind limit me. But Pookie can use his senses to guide you. They are still sharp enough to be useful.
He flips the bacon.
I used to be much more than this, you know.
He motions to his round belly.
I used to be an unstoppable force. I used to be able to see my toes.
He hands you a plate of breakfast.
That is in the past now, and I am forbidden from remembering those days. Even so, Pookie will do his best.
He pokes the fire with his tail while you eat.
Today you will be meeting one of the scariest beings in existence.
Pookie shivers.
Even thinking of that man makes Pookie nervous. Master believes he will speed up your development and give you necessary opportunities. As much as Pookie hates to admit it, Pookie knows Master is correct. Master is always correct. We will spend the majority of the day traveling. Pookie will hide himself to avoid suspicions. One of the abilities Master let Pookie keep is called Veil Slip. It lets Pookie occupy a different space, a layer between layers. Pookie will be with you, even if you cannot see Pookie. Feel free to cry out, weakling, if you need Pookie. Also, Pookie will alert you if he detects anything.
Pookie pats his belly and disappears.
Follow the path to the east when you wish to leave, weakling.
You can use this time to cast any ritual spells or make any other preparations you'd like to make before going out on your journey. As a quick note, you don't have all of your starting equipment yet. You will be getting all of it in Session 4, so if you wish to grab a stick from the bonfire to use, you can do that, but you'll find a little else of use in the area. I'll give you a moment to check over your character sheet or your spell list to see if you can do anything here, and then feel free to proceed right afterwards. You make your first steps on your journey, walking towards the rising sun. It really is beautiful. Walking along the eastern trail, you take note of the lightness you find in your step. Was this due to Hero's blessing, or is it for some other reason? Maybe the feeling of purpose? Or maybe even the feeling of freedom from your old life? Your pondering is interrupted by a wounded deer on the side of the path. You can hear its labored breathing from quite some distance away. Approaching the deer, you can make out a poorly placed arrow in its hind region. The beast is clearly suffering. You feel a heavy weight on your shoulder and hear an annoying voice.
Mortals can be so cruel. Pookie did a search of the area and found no sentient beings other than us. So strange. The hunter must have abandoned the beast, leaving it to suffer.
What are you going to do? This is an interesting dilemma because there are so many different approaches you can take, and whether or not you're awarded a hero or a villain point really comes down to your justification for doing such an action. For that reason, I'm going to ask you to comment down below your justification for pursuing whatever action you decide to do. I'll provide a bunch of charts here based on potential things you might do, but in a game like D&D where you're in control, it's a little difficult for me to think of everything, but I think I got most of the bases covered here, so feel free to review them. If you're having a hard time reading them on screen, which on mobile you definitely will, I'll put them in a shareable Google Drive folder, so just click on that and they should all be in there. That's really the best way I can figure out how to do this, but I've done tables for animal handling, medicine, nature, religion, and survival, so I feel like all of you are likely to be proficient in at least one of those, and I've also provided an investigation chart for the arrow itself, so if you wish to pursue this a little bit further, you'd likely want to do that as well. Regardless of what you decide to do, I'd make a note somewhere on your character sheet as to your actions. Reason being, it'll help you track your character's development as they progress through the story. Maybe they're going to be consistent all the way through. Maybe something like this will change their perspective on things a little bit. It's hard to tell, but there will be quite a few of these moral dilemma moments throughout the campaign, so just make a note, especially if you don't really play all that often or you don't review all that much. This will really help you out. Now I'll give you a moment to review and make your dice rolls. After you make your decision, Pookie will chime in.
You are an interesting weakling. I see why my master is so interested in you. Let's carry on.
The weight on your shoulder disappears. As you walk, you can't help but think about that deer. You feel as though its labored breathing will revisit you in your dreams. Eventually, you come to a fork in the road. One northeast, the other southeast. Looking down both paths, you feel a strange presence coming from the south. It almost seems to bode you closer, and you can hear what can only be described as laughter. It makes you almost want to join in. The weight then reappears on your shoulder.
Head towards the north, weakling.
As soon as you hear that annoying voice, the feeling of laughter soon drains from you, and you start to head towards that direction. As you continue on the path, the air becomes heavier. It is clear, but there is something strange in the air nonetheless, and night starts to near. You hear panting, and look down. Pookie is laying on the ground, his belly rising and falling quickly as he tries to breathe.
Weakling, I can't go any further. This space, it wants to repel Pookie. You are close, weakling. Pookie will find you when he is able.
Pookie then crawls into the forest. A feeling of suspense starts to overtake you as you walk onward. You feel something is in front of you, but see nothing. With one step further, the landscape changes. The air becomes sweet with floral odors, and colors just seem more vibrant. You are surrounded by many thriving gardens, with a large tavern-style building in the center. Your passive perception lets you make the following observations. And this is based on the chart in the top corner of the screen. If you have a hard time reading it, check out that Google Docs file I mentioned earlier. But it ranges from you liking this place to actually discerning one of the mysteries involved in it. It's really quite cool. I'll give you a moment here to figure out what your passive perception is and where it lines up on the chart, and just a moment to digest the information. After you're done with that, the door to the tavern opens, as if inviting you in. Upon crossing the threshold, the door shuts gently behind you. You can make out the sound of friction, like soft scratching. Upon closer inspection, it almost has a rhythm to it. It's quite strange. A floating hand appears in front of you. It is dressed in a butler's glove. It motions for you to follow. The tavern smells earthy, with citrus undertones. It is inviting. The hand leads you down a large hallway with several doors on each side. It is obvious that the inside of this building is much larger than the outside would suggest. You also notice many pictures decorating the hall, yet all of them are blank. It is quite strange, a little bit unsettling if you're honest with yourself. Nearing the door at the end of the lengthy hall, the sound of scratching is incredibly loud. The hand opens the door. You are met with a flood of papers. They fly up and circle you as if in a windstorm. You hear a subtle click, and the papers retreat back to the room. Hello, adventurer! That's where we're going to end off this session. It's quite a good one, although it does end on a little bit of a cliffhanger. Just so you're aware how these sessions are going to work out, the Welcome to the Guild part of the campaign, it's actually only going to be the 4 sessions long, and it's more or less meant to implement your character into the game world as seamlessly as possible. The last session, so session 4 of this particular part, it's going to be dealing with a lot of the mechanics of the world. It will all be explained in character, so you won't have to worry about breaking immersion. But this is where the Discord channel is right now, technically, is they're just after session 4. So the Discord channel's in this weird kind of limbo right now without session 4 coming out yet. It's all scripted, I just need to do the animation for it and then render it and then upload it. So I might do that sooner than I was intending, just so I can put it up on the guild hall and then, or up on the Discord, and then that way the people in the guild hall can kind of adjust as they see fit. That's probably the easiest way to go about this. I don't know, I was thinking about it last night, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. In any case, feel free to like and subscribe if you're not already, to get 5 hero or villain points, your choice. Keep a tally of how many you currently have access to and the total that you've accumulated. You'll be using your total amount accumulated to level up, but you can spend them and that won't affect your total amount accumulated because they're 2 different numbers to keep track of. They will have a lot of uses later on, so it's worth keeping tabs on them, or they may or may not. I guess it kind of depends on who you are as a player, but yeah. In any case, it's pretty straightforward. Now let's take a look at our heroes of note. First and foremost, the hero-blooded patron Nyx, also known as Tristan. His video actually came out today as well, so feel free to check that out. And we also have Rev Sinner, who is in the process of creating a Wesley Roberts. And his video will be coming out in the near future as well, so keep an eye out for that. They are both of the hero-blooded tier, which gives them access to quite a bit. If you're curious about becoming an adventurer of note yourself, please check out our Patreon. And if you're just anyone else, check out our Discord. There's a lot of great stuff going on in there right now, from discussions about spells and feats, to character creation, to a ton of roleplay that is moving at a speed that is quite a bit faster than I was expecting, but no matter, Session 4 will clear a lot of their questions up, so I'm looking forward to that. That being said, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy adventuring.